Hey everyone, and welcome to Champions Chat. This is where I have the pleasure of meeting and speaking with the amazing community of people that play Marvel Champions. If you'd be interested in speaking with me, please fill out the Google form in the description below. Also, if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, it would be greatly appreciated. Also, as always, I have to do one shameless self plug for my weekly video game podcast, D-Pad Experience, where you can find us on all podcast providers and YouTube. But enough about me, I want to hear about you.
Okay.
Hey everybody, I know you, but nobody else knows you. Who do I have here with me today? Who is this?
Hey guys, name's Robert, and I've been gaming for Rick now. With how long it's been? Like a few months now.
Yeah, so we met on Discord through the
Yeah,
official Marvel Champions Discord, and I think we first met up in August.
yeah,
I think it was
back
August.
in August, and I was just posting, looking for people who play in New Jersey, and I was scrolling around, and I think it was that you or Matt replied, and then from there we started getting meeting together in Jersey.
Yeah, and it's been pretty cool. It's been great. You know, we try to meet as much. We were doing better in the beginning, but holidays messed us up.
Yeah.
But it's been awesome playing three players with you guys and four players with you guys. It's the first time I've ever played multiplayer with anybody, and it's been great. So, just in case do you have like a channel or a handle that you are at, or you don't really care?
Uh, I don't really have a handle or sort of like media presence, you know.
Cool.
But if you see me on the, I guess, Discord chat, I usually go by Saggy Bear or NJ Saggy, some usually one of those combinations.
Cool. So I've got some questions here for you, Marvel Champions related. Shoot, I had another one. That's fine. Okay. Anywho, so um, do you have a favorite hero, superhero, not Marvel Champions related, just in general?
Oh, I was a huge fan of Daredevil. I'm
Nice.
talking, I used to collect comics. I was a Marvel geek. I have a twin brother. We're both Marvel geeks, but I've got really into Frank Miller's run, and then I kind of peered off a bit. It was the '90s, so X Men became very popular, and then came back full force during the Kevin Smith run. Because if you're a comic book guy and you're from New Jersey, you love Kevin Smith.
Right.
So I started picking up the Guardian Angel run and continued straight into the end of Bendis' run. And from there, I collected all of Bendis' stuff. Alias has worked on New Avengers, and that really got me back into the comic swings. And then I kind of started peering out of collecting comics.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. Just subscribed to Marvel Unlimited, and I was looking at reading Daredevil. It's like one of the top things that usually pops up. I think the series they recommend is The Man Without Fear. I think it's called.
Yeah, they're Man Without Fear, the Bendis run, and
Cool.
also beautiful covers. I think by David Mack. It's just beautiful artistic covers. That whole run was great. And then there was a great miniseries I think called Daredevil Redemption. I think that was
Nice.
really good.
Cool. Let's see. What do you have a favorite MCU content? Like, do you have a favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe, either movie or series?
Oh, I really got into Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, nice.
But I also, with my wife, we really just like Captain America and Spider-Man. It's like this old-fashioned shucks type hero and everything. Though I'm kind of bracing myself because based on those new trailers, like if Marvel kills off Ant-Man, Drax, and or Rocket Raccoon in the same calendar year, I don't think I can handle it.
It's gonna be rough,
Like
man.
those trailers are,
Drax is the one I'm like, because we all know he's not coming back. So I was like, please
yeah.
no, not Drax.
This last Ant-Man trailer was very ominous. The one before that was very ominous. So I'm like, oof.
All right, let's start getting into some Marvel
Actually,
Champion stuff. Go ahead.
well, that translates very nicely because
Oh
one of
yeah,
my favorite heroes I play with is Ant-Man.
nice.
I think Ant-Man. The reason why I like Ant-Man, he's such a switchblade, not such a Swiss Army knife hero because he can do two forms. He has a very authority form of his tiny size, a very attack defense heavy of his giant size, and I tend to be protection first. I think justice is my second aspect, and then leadership's aggression teeters a little bit. But I like it because I also have a very heavy Magic D&D background,
Nice.
and when I play Dungeons and Dragons, my favorite class has always been the Bard, the jack of all trades, good of everything but master of none. And I think that really summarizes why I like Ant-Man so much because I can really gear myself to what the table needs. If we need an actual Thorder, I'll stick to my tiny form. If we need some more damage on the table, I can go to my giant, and then my protection is usually just so I can take the hits and also take other people hits because never back down. I could block a. I think that's the one that I could stop a treachery, or the one that if I take a defense and I take no damage, I can stun. So I like the idea of creating a hero that I feel could fit the hole that the table might be missing, and that's the thing I gear towards a lot towards Ant Man.
Nice. I love Ant-Man as well. He's one of my, I don't know if he's top 5. He's easily top 10 for me without a doubt. He could sneak into top 5, but I just recently started running him with Ready to Rumble. Oh god, that is just dumb good with him. He just readies all day with that card. It's insane.
I
Insane.
also, and because he's multi-form, the one, coincidentally, the one with Daredevil on the on the card, the green one, that if you
Oh right.
switch forms, you could get the tough status,
Mhm.
Perseverance, I think it's called.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, right. And oh, I didn't even think about. Oh, because I don't run protection with him. I don't, you play.
Okay.
You know what? We'll answer a couple of those.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you why that doesn't work for me. So let's see. When did you start playing the game, and what got you into it?
So I was very much into Magic the Gathering, EDH Commander. Sold off my collection because I just couldn't handle the upkeep, and I just wanted like a card game where I don't have to constantly upkeep and also like chase the dragon, like going after like chase cards that can like can cause like a card payment, that sort of deal. And I also was into a little bit legendary, Marvel
Oh
Legendary.
right, yeah.
So I was like, I want like a game that's I like cooperative because even when we play Magic EDH, there are a bunch of people. This idea that we're trying to be friendly, but there's still going to be one winner.
Right,
Really like cooperative gaming. One of my favorite board games is Shadows over Camelot. That this idea that we're all working towards a goal. So I was looking up reviews and I saw read excerpts about Marvel Champions. I watched YouTube videos on how to play, and I really cooperative gaming, Marvel. I love the IP, and I really like the idea that there's no randomness to the cards. You
right,
can look up what cards, what packs, and obviously there is a collecting aspect to the game because certain cards are certain heroes, but it's definitely in there.
right.
You don't have to like scour, look for like different alternates, etc. So that's what I liked about it, and the fact that like I have about half the content. I'm nowhere near what you have in terms of the actual card game. So I can get like a little bit. I can get like one deck per month, one every other month, and I don't feel like I'm so behind the ball as it was when I was playing Magic and other card games. That if you don't buy anything for 2 months, you're 400 cards behind everyone else.
Right, and then you have to pray to the booster pack gods that you're gonna
Yeah.
get what you want. So,
Yes, or the eBay hustlers, exactly.
right. So you've answered one of my questions, what you liked about it. You answered my questions about how much content which you have. I'm envious of people who can wait. My like OCD is like, no, I need to have everything now. So I'm like
Well,
always jealous of that.
I think because I finally found my fit with protection and justice. So for example, once I got Ant-Man, because I was going in blind, and then when I found Ant-Man, I thought Gamora was a great hero. Then Gamora got put aside. And I really like Nebula. I was like, okay, I like Ant-Man. I like him in protection. Let me see what the protection cards are out there. Okay, this protection card comes with this hero. I'll get that hero. So it was really me trying to build up my Ant-Man deck. I'm slowly getting more and more collection. I'm starting to get more campaign packs. I think I have 3 hero decks. It's Ant-Man, Nebula. I'm starting to work on Adam Warlock, and
Nice.
I just picked up Storm.
Oh,
So right now, those are my 4 that I'm like tweaking a little bit. My car in the garage type of deal.
Nice. I'm about to probably after this actually play a game with Adam Warlock. I've been dreading it. I really hate Adam Warlock because for me it's just it's overwhelming to create a deck with him because you have to use like one from each aspect, and
Yeah.
that like the cognitive overload is just way too much for me. So I just went on Marvel CDB. I'm like, give me a deck. I can't do it. Like my brain can't process everything that goes
Well,
into him.
again, that's one reason why I like Alan Warlock is because I could pick from different aspects.
Yeah,
Once again, the best way to play Alan Warlock is to do the constant stun lock, where it's like you get the protection one that you can stun, like get all the cards that
Sackle.
can
Yeah,
stun and stuff like that. But once again, with the four different aspects, I feel like he's the one character I feel is the closest I get to playing a bard from D&D,
cool.
where I
Yeah,
have a little bit of a fighter, a little bit of the caster, a little bit of the healer, that sort of deal.
that's awesome. No, that actually totally makes total sense. So this actually goes into why I struggle with protection sometimes. So how do you play mainly? Do you play true solo or two handed when you play at home?
I played when I first got the game. My main character was Captain America, and I was playing solo through the Red Skull. Was it the Hydra? The
The
Red Skull.
Rise of the Red Skull.
Yeah, Rise of Red Skull. And I played that through Standard. We played again through Expert, and there were certain times where like I felt that the threat number for one player was a little bit too low.
Mm.
So that's when I started doing two-handed, and I think that's the best way play, at least solitaire wise, is to play two-handed because you really get a lot more of the card interaction, and you really get to feel okay, this is what they wanted the villain to be like.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's actually why I don't play Ant Man protection too much or a lot of protection too much because I play true solo mainly. And I can't get that interaction that you're talking about. You know, like when you make a true solo deck, you have to cover all aspects. But you know, if you're playing
Yeah.
two handed like you can really focus on a thing and lean on the other hero. So yeah, I totally agree.
And it's also a different deck build because I feel like with True Solo, it's either from what I've seen, my personal experience in watching content creators is you go Justice because that way you kind of like control the clock of the game, or you go aggressive and you just like you become a hammer and everything's a nail. You just want to like wipe things off the board, and there's certain strategies that get lost in it. But then again, that's the whole part of the game that you can play it solo and multiplayer, which is why I also got into the game because I have two kids, so finding time to play has been inconsistent for me. So I wanted to invest in a game where I can play solitaire if I want to, or I
Right.
can play multiplayer and still enjoy the game.
Yeah, no, totally makes. I'm with you on that as well. Let's see. All right. So you told me who your favorite hero was, right? Let's see. Do you have a? And you told me what your favorite aspect. Do you have a least favorite hero?
My least favorite hero, Hulk. I really
Mm.
tried with Hulk. I really did. And I've done our readings that the hero deck was literally changed supposedly. I forgot my source. Where I read the article like days or a week before
Oh
winter,
wow.
and they changed it to like you gotta dump your whole hand. I think that's the one thing they have to dump your whole hand. Um, I feel any because that and to me that's why I also like characters like Nebula, where you have to like really plan ahead your move, and then if I have to wipe out my hand, it really and then thematically it kind of makes sense because the Savage Hawk is reckless. He's not supposed to have intelligence. He just swings around. So I get thematically why it makes sense, but in terms of a strategy game where you can't pre-plan that far ahead, it's I just didn't like it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you have a favorite villain to play against?
I really like playing against
Oh
Taskmaster.
yeah.
I really like playing Taskmaster because I feel he's not too hard. He's not too easy. especially because every time you change forms, he pings you,
Oh,
which
right.
means you can go back and forth so easily. Especially if characters kind of like Colossus with tough that you're gonna lose an aspect like that. I also like the fact that his side schemes are um, can be annoying, but you get rewarded by getting these extra ally hero cards. I think it's a great part of that scenario where you can get these allies into your hands. I think all of them are zero cost. All of them have a great ability when they come in, and also has Moon Knight. I love Moon Knight. Another character I love growing up. Like the whole Marvel Knights line. I used to collect all the Marvel Knights brand of comics and X-Men stuff like that. So I think that's like a really good built-in scenario with little side quests. Like those are the type of ones I like, where it's not just a straightforward beatdown. That there's like a mechanic to deal with, which is why I like the whole campaign. I think my favorite campaign so far has been Red Skull. Now
Nice.
I have Red Skull, I have Galaxy Most Wanted, I have Mad Titan. So I only have three. So again, it's not like this declarative statement, but I really like Red Skull because I think each one you fight there, Crossbones is a good one. Absorbing Man, a lot of people think he's really easy, but he's surprising. He can come out of nowhere and get you. And what I like about Absorbing Man, because he has all of these four different or three different environmental aspects to it, you can't really plan for him that well because he could constantly switch environments and switch his abilities on you a little bit. Where I thought was okay. Taskmaster, I think Arn Zola is surprisingly difficult.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um, and I like how Red Skull, there's always a side quest coming up, and especially that big robot that comes on the field. So I think all the scenarios separately are good. I think interactions between them, if you play campaign, is a little lacking, but it's not. Galaxy Most Wanted is just horrible punishment.
Right.
And then Mad Titan's Shadow is good, but I feel that giving the Loki giving the Infinity Gauntlet was tacked on, and Loki becomes a bit of a grind. Even though I think Hela is a great scenario, like one of the best scenarios in the game. But with Ebony Maw, you play four-player Ebony Maw, he can wipe you out in turn one, turn two, because you'll start with a spell, and you have to look for a spell. Then it's like you run through the whole deck. So by turn two, it's a starvation counter of all the spells on the board. It can get pretty brutal. But I think consistently, I like Red Skull.
Nice. Do you have a least favorite villain? Obviously, it's most likely going to be Ronan, right? But like,
Oh, Nebula too.
yeah, okay,
Nebula.
cool. Yeah, the threat on her is dirty. She's dirty, you know?
I think the problem they had was people were saying Red Skull is so easy, and then they ratchet up, and then they've been fixing it since then. I think they realized that if you have a good mechanic, because the players ourselves, since the game is so modular, we can make the scenarios difficult
Right.
depending on which encounters we put in. If we do standard two or expert two, the stuff that we can put in, we can make it difficult. Like I really like Mojo. I think Mojo is one of the best scenario packs came out there. It's a mini campaign with its. I think that is I feel is how they should do future scenario packs. The hood was good, but it's once you play it once, it's done. You know how to do it. Wrecking Crew is predictable, but with this mini campaign, it comes with three separate. I thought it was just great design.
Yeah, and each one is so different and so fun. I 100% agree with you. I love the Mojo scenario pack.
It's not straight down. There's little side mechanics like Magad is I think is so great. It really changes up the pace. And then what I also like is if you pull him Magad, it not punishes you, but it reels you back by giving you an extra encounter card.
Right.
But if Magad pulls ahead, it's built in that we all get cards, so we can try to catch up. I think it's instead of other scenarios like going back to what I said before, with Ronin, with Nebula, with the Collector, once you get behind, it just pushes you further and further down.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, buddy. I have Just like 2 or 3 more questions for you. All right. So, what is one hero that you would like to see in the game, and what would be their gimmick?
Um, there's a bit of a cheat.
Sure.
I feel they should definitely bring in the whole Defenders line.
Oh,
Like I
cool.
want to
Okay.
see Luke Cage, I want to see Moon Knight, I want to see Daredevil. But what I've also been noticing, I hope this is not the case, I feel they're tending to forget some of the synergies of previous cards, of previous heroes. For example, Black Will is all about preparation cards, and we have not seen that many.
Right.
So every set that comes out, Black Will gets a little bit far behind. As of if you take Cyclops, for example, there's a whole bunch of tactic cards outside of the X-Men, and that really helps Cyclops. There's also, I think, certain keywords that I hope they don't forget, like multiple man in protection, keywords X Factor.
Right.
I have not seen any X Factors out there.
I think
Blade,
Forge.
I think it's X Force.
You're right. You're right. Yep. You're right.
And then with Blade, he has a vampire keyword, but
Mm.
there's nothing coming forward. So I would love them to, when they come out, future heroes. Also, Midnight Suns. I would love to see the Midnight Suns faction. Not just Doctor Strange, but also like Ghost Rider. Bring
Morbius.
those back. And yeah, I think one of the questions he sent me was what I'd like to see. I think what would be a good idea for the game is they bring in variants. I think that'd be
Oh.
really cool. So, for example, like with all the heroes, just have a new hero card for them. So, for example, like the Hulk, keep his 15 cards that come in, but his hero card, because Hulk, you can be Joe Fixit. So you still have the same 15 card deck with Hulk, but now you have a Joe Fix on one side, different Bruce Banner on the other. Same with Doctor Strange. You can have the Midnight Sun Doctor Strange on one side, so you still use those same cards, but by changing the hero action and the alter ego action, might hopefully bring a new dimension to the game. And that's one way to bring some affiliations, because Quicksilver was an X Factor in the comics. You could come up with a Quicksilver variant where you just tacked on the X Factor and maybe change his alternate hero ability. I think that might open up whole new avenues for the game.
I love that. I think that's genius. I was talking with somebody on YouTube about something similar. How a lot of the original heroes seem to be being left in the dust. Like Ironheart's just a better Iron Man, and we would love to see
Yeah.
somehow some sort of refresh for the original heroes. And I think that's genius. I think that's a really really good idea. Do you have a villain that you would like to see play against, and what would be their gimmick?
I would love to see Mephisto.
Oh,
And I think him being such a allegory, depending on the comic source, for like for a demon devil or anything, I think what would be great for his mechanic is all his treacheries give you a choice, but they're just bad choices. Like I feel it'd be great if he has a treachery where it's like you can either like get any card you want out of your deck, but everyone else gets like a face down account card. You know,
that's
it's
cool.
like it's just your choice. It's like or like Mephisto can attack you, but you can remove like a two scheme from two threat from
Oh,
the main
cool.
scheme. I think that really fits Mephisto's idea, like just making these deals that like
Oh, I
there's
love that.
no clear scenario, and also changes up. Our my thing will also have a high replay value because the choices that come up. I don't know, it's something like that.
That's awesome. I love that. I would never even thought of Mephisto, and that's a really. I like that. Like how you said, like to make the deal. So like, okay, I'll take this, but you got to lose that. That's really cool. That's
Yeah,
really
because
really
the
cool.
first one with there was Spider-Man with One More Day, and the original trade for Infinity Gauntlet was like whispering in Thanos' ear. So I think incorporating that sort of aspect of like deal making or this idea that you'll get benefit, but like later on in the game, it's gonna come back to haunt you. I think that'd be, and since you have the deck and the cards, you can reshuffle the deck. I think that might be an avenue that'd be interesting to see how it works out if they do it.
Yeah, I'd love that. All right, buddy. I'd like to close off. And I didn't put this on the email purposely, so you couldn't have a chance to look for it. Uh, I'm gonna close off with some Marvel Champions trivia.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave. The first two ones should be fairly. I forgot this about myself to do this myself too, so I had to like think on the spot. All right, the first two should be, I think, fairly easy, and the third one I think is gonna be a little more difficult. All right, so I'm looking at some cards from the standard modular set, cards that we've used
Okay.
forever. Question number one: Who's on the? What picture is what superhero is on Shadows of the Past?
That's Spider-Man.
Sure is. Sure is
Yeah.
Spider Man. All right. What villain is on the advance card?
Red Skull.
Red Skull. All right. Last one.
All right.
What villain is on the caught off guard card?
I'm gonna say maybe Killmonger.
We're looking for Thanos.
Thanos. I thought it was Killmonger or Thanos. Well, that's one thing I forgot. I think one of the worst mechanics, because you talk about those cards. I think Surge.
Oh
I
God.
really I think Surge was sort of in my opinion a very cheap way, cheap in terms of easy, and cheap in the sense that it's unforgiving way to make the game difficult when you put so much stuff that says Surge. Number one, you go through the counter deck, which means you get the acceleration token. And I feel it's just a very like a cop out to make any card more difficult. I don't get me wrong. There's certain cards that's okay to have Surge. For example, the one with Venom on it,
Right.
where it's like if he's a hero, he attacks you, but if you're anti-hero, you don't get free pass. It gets Surge. I think that situation is okay. But when every other card gets Surge, it just really makes the game just it really feels like everything's kind of like against you. I think that they should really um, not get rid of the mechanic, but be much more I won't say lenient, but much more deliberate on how they use Surge and how it's done in the game, because that can easily get out of hand and looks like it creates this really ill field snowball effect.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's actually one of the reasons why I hate the hood, because like every freaking other card is a surge card, and it's just like, oh my God, leave me alone. No, I think you're right. That's a good point. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate this. This has been awesome. I hope we can hook up the next week, maybe next week, to play.
Well, bad news. Next week, I'm busy with my girls, so
Okay. All right. So we're looking for 2 weeks from now.
but I feel like once spring comes around, hopefully it'll get a little bit better. Because I
Awesome.
want to get with everyone, and I definitely want to play Mojo.
Yeah, man. Totally.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, dude.
Thanks for having me on, man.